As you know, I wanted to prove my father's innocence. That's why I joined the royal auction. I want revenge, and that's my sole purpose in life. Woo-Seok listens to everything and says, I know how it feels. I'm looking for the same person who ruined my sister's life and mine, but we have to prove where the actual painting is. Then she says, Chairwoman has a locker. I haven't been in it yet, but there are probably paintings in there. So Yuk says, we'll work together. I'll help you. I'm an expert investigator, and you have knowledge of art. Meanwhile, the managing director tries to eavesdrop on their conversation. Just then, Dun arrives and chases the manager away, but he sees Woo-Seok and Han Seol together. Meanwhile, the chairwoman is giving all the information about Yuk, including how he's an insurance investigator. Meanwhile, Han Seol is showing Yuk the other paintings that Yun Byum sent. Meanwhile, Yuk is at a loss to understand how Yun Bam knows so much about Hanyul. After that, Yun Byum meets an old employee of Yun's company, Your Home. The employee explains that when he returned from Syria, he gradually fired all the secretaries and other employees and hired entirely new staff because he was having problems, as whenever he scanned his eyes, he couldn't enter the system, so he had the entire system changed overnight. Hearing this, Yuk suspects that the retinal scans weren't being recognized. He also tells Mr. Lee that no matter how many surgeries you undergo, you can't change your eye pattern. This means he's not Yun Bam. Here, Dune gives the photos of the 5 paintings he promised Han Seol, saying take them, but what are you doing? She says I'll tell you when the time comes. Dun asks, you also suspect Yun Byum, right? As they leave in the car, Hans tells him everything. Dun says this means Yun Bam is Soho's friend. She says yes, he deliberately approached me. Du then says you should have gone to me instead of Woo-Seok, I could have helped you a lot. Then she says, he's just like me. Just like you and me. He's also like someone who is no one. Meanwhile, Dun and Hansel go to meet an old friend of Yun Byum with whom he's very close, but he hasn't spoken to him since he returned from Syria. Meanwhile, Yun Bam's friend tells that he broke up with all his friends. A few days ago, when I met him at a party, his appearance seemed the same, but his behavior had completely changed. Everyone I met said the same thing, and some even told me that Yun Bam doesn't even recognize them. And here Mr. Lee's mind suddenly flashes and he calls Woo-Seok and says that in Onward Company we're going to war carrying out rescue operations, so our blood samples are taken, you can check through the DNA that Yun Bam is real or someone else. And here before the auction there's going to be a preview where all the VIP clients will come and see the paintings, and here Han Seol is talking about the paintings. Meanwhile, Yun Byum also comes into the auction and is talking to Yuk about how Mr. Lee survived and that he's very happy. Yuk says, you should tell the police everything. You can still make the right decision. Yun Byum tells him, our legal team is very strong and I have money. No one can do anything to me. Meanwhile, the chairwoman tells the man who bought the 5 paintings from her, it's okay. They're insured. You'll get your money. I'll show you the new paintings I've bought these days. This is a stellar painting. Here, Han Seol informs Yun, the chairwoman wants to meet you. A drink is brought in and Yun Bam begins to have a seizure. He's given an injection and Yun Bam recovers, then, Yuk takes the injection and gets into the car with his junior, saying they'll test his DNA. Meanwhile, Hans is terrified and shaking, but manages to control herself. Here we find out that Dun's sister Un-Hai has come to the manager and she tells him that she saw this above Hansel's desk, and here are details of all the chairwoman's properties and also of Felix's storage, and the manager says, oh, so she's digging up information about the chairwoman. And here DNA testing is being done and Yuk is waiting. Meanwhile, Han Seol arrives to meet Yun Bam and she asks, do you want to tell me something? Yun Bam says, you have to come with me somewhere. I want to show you something. Han Seol and Yun Bam arrive in a car surrounded by woods. He takes her to a house and Han Seol observes the way the house is designed, Soho used to say about them. She receives a message from Yuk asking where are you, she switches off her phone because she needs to know and confirm things. Then we see Bam explaining everything, saying this is here, that is there. Then Han Seol says Soho, and here the DNA report comes showing that it matches Soho's blood sample, not Yunbayam's. Then Yuk calls Hansel, but she doesn't pick up, so he runs away. Here Yunbayam with tears in his eyes looks at Hansel and says, I forgot my own name. I thought you'd recognize me, but no, you were just looking at the paintings, and the owner of those paintings is Yunbayam, a VIP. In a flashback, we see that Soho comes to meet Han Seol when she's new to Royal Auctions. She sees a message from the chairwoman asking her to meet a client at the hotel. Soho wonders where she's going. She replies, I'm running late for the meeting, I'll tell you later. Soho says, I'm going to Syria, but she replies, we've already broken up and now let me work in peace. Soho says, oh, now that you've started working you're not interested in me, but Han Seol wants revenge, so she doesn't listen to him and walks away. Soho sees her getting into the hotel elevator with an old man, and he's drinking all night and breaking things. He's also in Syria, furious with Han Seol. Now at present, Bam says that idiot gave his life so you could remember him, but it doesn't matter to you. You keep shifting from one man to another, and then I was rescued and my friend died in my place. But the doctor made a mistake and thought I was Bam because we were wearing exactly the same clothes during the rescue. They did my entire surgery to model my face after his. I had so many surgeries I can't even tell you. Then my life actually began. Even my voice changed and I became Bam. Then I realized that it doesn't matter to you whether I live or die. You're not ashamed to go to a hotel with an old man. Han Seol says, it was for work, it was a meeting, I think you haven't changed at all. Bam says, I've become completely different. I'm Yunbayam. I have power, I have money, wherever I go people bow down. You've noticed me too, haven't you? After success women like you get close to men. My money seduced you, and look how stupid I am. I melted the moment I saw you. I loved you, but I hated you just as much. Here Yuk arrives at Bam's house, but it's not the house where Han Seol and Yunbayam are, but the other house. Then Yuk tells Ju Yong to quickly track down Han Seol, but Ju Yong says that Pyoong won't give permission. Ju Yong says, okay, come here to arrest me. He breaks the glass and enters the house only to find that Bam has put up everyone's photos and done extensive research on everyone. Here Bam tells Hanyul, I have a still, that's why you two met and ran away. I hated you, but I still wanted to make you my woman again. Now we can live together, I can do whatever you want. Han Seol says, stay away from me, you've gone crazy. Then Bam forces himself on Hansel. Meanwhile, the police arrive and see all the photographs, but they didn't find Woo-Seok. Then Pyoong asks them to track down the whereabouts of Hansel and Yuk. To protect herself from Yunbayam, Han Seol removes a sharp object from an art piece that looks like a sword. Seol was moving forward. Joong tells her to stop, but she doesn't. So she fires, but suddenly Yuk pulls her away and the bullet grazes his hand. The wound wasn't too serious, so he was fine. He asks Seol if she's okay, but she seems to be in shock, not speaking. Hearing the gunshot, everyone else comes out. He checks on Bam and finds he's dead. The police try to arrest Seol, but Yuk tries to stop them, but Pyoong says, it's murder, so stay out of here. Then they take Seol away, but Yuk goes inside after applying a light bandage and all. He goes to the same room where Seol and Bam last fought. There was blood spilled there, and the same stick that killed Bam was there, meaning the weapon was inside at the police station. Juong was worried that she was the one who shot, but Pyoong explains to her that she didn't do anything wrong. Woo-Seok himself jumped forward and he's fine anyway, so don't worry. Then they go to question Seol, but she was completely silent, just staring. Hyo says, you've been caught red-handed, so you can't just get away. But she smiles. While Yuk was investigating everything himself, he notices some marks on the gate handle. This leads him to believe that someone wearing textured gloves opened them. This means that a third person may have come here and deliberately turned off the lights in the house, and there was another way to escape from there into the forest besides the main gate. This means the man must have gone that way. So he also takes that route, and on the way he sees blood on a tree and shoe prints in the wet mud below, meaning his suspicion was correct. He runs to the road, realizing that the third person must have escaped from there. The next day, the news spreads to Royal Auction. The manager tells Miss Kim that Seal already killed Yinb and he should be fired. She angrily asks him, "This is important to you. The owner of the painting Stealer, which was supposed to be our most expensive painting, has died. So, what can we do now? Everything will be ruined." She then tells him to call a lawyer, saying they must first get Seal out. Meanwhile, Dunn and the bar owner go to meet with Seal, but she refuses to meet with anyone. They're worried about what's wrong with her, why she is acting like this. Here, Yuk takes the DNA report to Pyoong. He tells them that the person who died wasn't Jun BM but Seal's ex-boyfriend Soo-ho, who died in Syria, but in reality he wasn't dead, but they can't believe it, and Pyoong says, "What nonsense are you talking about?" He then explains that Soo-ho had plastic surgery. When he came back the system didn't recognize him, so he did a DNA test. He then shows them the DNA report, which shocks them, but Pyoong says it doesn't matter whether it's Soo-ho or Jun BM because Seal was caught committing the murder. He then explains that there's evidence of a third party involved, but it hasn't been reported yet. They're surprised, wondering what that means. So, he says, "I'll tell you everything. I just want to meet Seal once." Pyoong says, "You've gone crazy." He asked why he was getting involved. He replied, "Seal is silent because of me. She wants to give up." Juong asked, "What do you mean? If she meets you, will anything change?" Yuk replied, "I won't do anything wrong. I won't interfere with your investigation. I'll do whatever you say. Just let me meet her." Next, they discovered that before Jun Bam defended himself, he had a weapon lodged in his heart, and it was so hard that it was slightly bent. All of this suggested a man was the killer. But Seal's fingerprints were also found on the body. The photos found at Jun BM's house made it clear that he had followed Seal and was responsible for the deaths of Miss Kim and the others. But this time, he's the victim. So he theorizes that Seal must have found out the truth about Jun BM. They must have had an argument and then the murder happened. Whatever the truth is, only Seal can change it. And there Yuk goes to talk to Seal. He asks her if she's okay, if she slept well, or if she ate anything. But Seal sees the injury on his hand. She starts crying, but doesn't say anything. Perhaps because she feels that something could have happened to Yuk once again because of her. But then after a while she asks about his injury, asking, "Are you okay? Why are you here? You should go to the hospital." He says, "I'm fine, it's just a minor injury." Then he asks about Jun BM when he fainted at the auction house, and when I went to get the DNA test done he took you to his villa. So tell me what happened there. Was there anyone else there? You saw him, but Seal says, "Now it's your turn. I talked about killing my parents but you believed in me. So if you become my boyfriend, you'll be the next victim because you also have a policy. I killed all those idiots." But he says, "You're lying, aren't you?" But she shows him the burn mark on her back. She says, "Everyone said they felt sorry for me. They said they would do anything for me. So I asked them to buy insurance like my parents and then killed them. So if you want to survive, get out of my way." But Yuk goes to her, covers her injury, and tells her, "You're afraid something will happen to me, aren't you? You were alone all this time, but you didn't break down and remain strong. So, you're not a villain. You're a survivor. You haven't done anything wrong. So, don't gossip. Tell me the truth. You're not alone. I'm with you. I'll help you." She starts crying and says, "I'll survive this time, too." Then, looking at the team watching from outside the interrogation room, she says, "Take him away from here. He has nothing to do with this case." Then Yuk has to come out. But then she gets into an argument with Ju Yong about Seal, as he always did. Ju Yong still felt she might be telling the truth, but Yuk said she was lying to protect him. Just then, her lawyer from the royal auction arrives.